Om. 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 Sairam. Just to recollect what we were discussing, we are studying the 10th chapter of Sathya Sai Vahini. Swami is talking about various parts of yoga. At the moment, Swami is teaching us what is Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga, Swami says when and how we have to do things. And this is taught by the Shastras. And that's what we were reading. And I think we had discussed some questions. I think the one question with which we closed the last session was about being part of any organization where we feel it's adharmic or what's not right. We can continue to discuss, but maybe just to refresh our memories, we'll read the slide which we looked at last week and then we could discuss. Thank you. Siren.
Sairam. But without getting attached, without being aware as to whom the karma helps or how, the lesson that karma yoga teaches is to do the karma as karma for the sake of the karma. Why does the karma yogi fills his hands with work? That is his real nature. He feels that he is happy while doing work. That is all. He does not bargain for results. He is not urged by any calculation. He gives but never receives. He knows no grief, no disappointment, for he has not hoped for any benefit.
Thank you very much, sister. So this is what we had read last week, and I think the question I think Kalyani had posed was, we had discussed Bhishma, and he was under the view that he was doing his duty, but uh, we discussed that sometimes we had to be cognizant of who we are with, and that he was still serving Duryodhana. So I think the question which Kalyani asked was, uh, in today's world, we work for various corporations and things like that, workplaces. And in these places, sometimes they're so profit oriented, or they're not necessarily doing things the way they should be in a dharmic way. In such situations, what do we do? Is the question which Kalyani posed. So we did not discuss. So I will just open it up for some discussion. How do we deal with such a situation? Um, if we want to become Karma Yogi, which Swami would like us to be. So I will stop here. If anyone has something to share, what do we do? Do we leave an organization? Do we continue to work? Or do you think we have to try till we correct somebody, we should be there? Things like that, I think. So I'll pose this question and I'll stop. Anyone can share your thoughts, please, Saira. I guess. Yes, Sai Sadish, please go ahead.
Sorry, Amanda. I was just trying to look at what Vidura did and draw a lesson from that. No doubt, Vidura continued to serve the throne of Hastinapura, but at the same time, it was with the full awareness of how King Dhritarashtra was and the limitations that it brought along with it. And using that, we know how even in the House of Wax, when that information he already had, what he gave as a forewarning to the Pandavas, that kind of a framework. So I'm just trying to see under those circumstances, because we also know in that same question where it stems from is if we were to go from one organization to another organization, like literally in terms of finding that kind of a perfect place may become, or at least seems impossible. So while externally to find that place may be extremely challenging, what can we do on the internal, given the constraints, and keep it aligned, is what I am trying to see. So even when those kind of limitations come, if we are of that intense vairagyam that we can drop everything and go, then that's a different matter altogether. But given that we have a family, we have other obligations that surrounds that part, it's with that constant awareness that there are limitations with the actions that we are doing, and with that full awareness offering it to Swami. And of course there are going to be karmic repercussions for that, but that also we take it with the full awareness that since we are doing this action, we have to face those also. And with that, my kind of a mindset, if we undertake that offering, at least that awareness will help us go through the karmic repercussions that those actions bring about subsequently. But I'll pause here, Sarah.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to comment? I guess everyone is silent. Maybe if maybe I will say something, and otherwise we don't need to dwell on it much. Sai Satish has addressed it adequately, I think. I think as an organization, as an individual, we have to make some decisions. I think Sai Satish mentioned about Vidura. Vidura tried his best to guide the Kauravas, and when it came to the war, he felt that he did not want to be part of any war activities, so he left, and he went on a pilgrimage before the war started. He had warned, so he decided that he will not be part of a war, and he left. He did not even want to join the Pandavas side, but he just said he was not for the war. So that may be a middle ground which Vidura took. So I think ultimately we all have to make a call. If an organization sits there and the leaders are misleading everyone for their own purpose or doing harm to people, then I think if as an individual contributor, we have to make the call and move. And sometimes such moves can be tough also. As Aisatish mentioned, sometimes we have family to take care and so on. I think at sometimes we have to know who is the real source of taking care. Do we say it is us who is taking care? Ultimately, we are answerable to the Lord. And He is the person who takes care. As in the Mahabharata, it said, Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita. So, Dharma itself will protect someone who protects Dharma. So, I think that's a call which anyone has to make. And I think each individual has to make that call. If their conscience is pricking, then I think they have to find another home. In today's world, no place is good or bad, but within our role, if we can do benefit the world, we are not there just for earning money, livelihood. And I think that's a question which each of us have to make. As Sai Satish said, if there's karmic burden, then we should be willing to take that karmic burden also. I'm reminded of Valmiki, Ratnakara was, he said, I'm looking after my family by robbing. And, when he was asked to go and find out whether they will take a share in your karma also, he realized that no one was willing to take the karmic burden. And that was the eye-opening for him at some point, saying that this is not the right thing for me to do. Even if they have to starve, I will stop doing what I'm doing. And that was the resolution of Ratnakara. So I think each of us have to make the call. And having full faith and confidence that the Lord will guide us and take care of all of our burdens. And also even to give us the courage to do that. Swami is the one who can give us that courage also. So I will stop there. Kalyani, I don't know whether satisfied the answer. So yes, Sister Aruna.
Sai brother, you have mentioned, I think before me, Sanjay has raised his hand.
It's okay, Sister.
Brother Sanjay, you want to go ahead of me?
No, please go ahead, sister.
Sai brother, you have mentioned that uh, Vidura was taking the stand of middle with he doesn't want to do with the war and he's leaving. So sometime, do you think that is the right thing to do? To leave, when you know the right, then Vidra is leaving like that and go. Is that is right? That's my question. Is that is one of the things we can do? I wanted to really want to understand on that perspective too. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Sister. We'll ask others have something to say. So is it the right thing to do? Is the sister Aruna, or is it the best thing to do? So I will leave that. Yes, Sanjay, you can go.
No, I don't have a response. Maybe you can
No,
deal with it.
okay, that's fine. If you have anything to add, you can add, Dave.
No, I was just going to add, I think both you and Satish raised, made some really good points. The only thing I would add is, like you said, I think each one of us to evaluate what web we have weaved for ourselves. And then we get stuck in that web, right? And trying to keep, just like the spider keeps on repairing a part of the web that's damaged by an insect falling on it. And, we, in order to keep on repairing that web, we stretch ourselves thin in this process. And that each person has to evaluate based on their own clarity to figure out what is good and what is not good. But the one point that I wanted to add is, whether we are in an organization that may be adharmic or in an organization that is dharmic, as long as we are taking ownership of it, it's just a matter of whether it's an iron chain or a golden chain. That is something to be also, because ultimately, I think the point, the one of statement that you made in the process of becoming a karma yogi, if we want to ultimately get to that point, then it does not really matter at all if we, if we what organization we are in, because it's impossible. I think the question I had expanded upon last week also was, now our taxes are funding a country's actions, whether it's being supporting unjust wars in another part of the world or so on. What are we to do then? We live in whichever country we live in, our taxes, whether we like it or not, may be supporting or funding activities that we may or may not agree with. An organization is a little more easier. Okay, I can leave an organization, go join another company, or maybe start my own private dharmic business. But how am I? What are we supposed to do if the country we live in itself is involved in something that we may not agree with? So these, it becomes a much more harder question to answer until we actually uh, take the harder path towards giving up the fruits of the action, or as we discussed, not taking ownership of the action. Um, so yeah, I'll stop there.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you. Yes, Sister Vani, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, brother. So, in answering to Sister Aruna's question about him just leaving the war and went on a pilgrimage and not taking any sides, is that the right decision? I was just thinking, Vidura was considered the symbol for inner consciousness, and the dialogue that he had with Dhritarashtra was, Viduranidhi, like he's the person who knew. He was very acting for very just and the right thing and ethical stuff, and that he was talking to Dhritarashtra about. I think his dilemma was that he was loyal to his kingdom, and so he didn't want to take the side of the Dharma side, or the righteous side, and I think that was his choice to go to neutral and not taking part of the war, but his loyalty towards his kingdom couldn't allow him to be on the side of the Pandavas.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Yes, Sai Satish.
Saramana, I'm just trying to see, of course, one, what Sister Vani mentioned about Viduraniti. The other is the same thing happens with Lord Krishna also. He says that I will not pick any arms in battle. You have to either take my army or you have to take me unarmed. So even the Lord, in that sense, didn't pick any side. But once the devotee picked him, then of course rest is history. So I'm just trying to say, like based on what Sanjay also mentioned, in these kind of situations where one has absolutely no control over what ripple effect their action, or in one sense their contribution leads to, that means one has to be always in that conscious state of only the Lord being the doer, and which means every action is reinforced with Swami's name, and and offered unto him. It's a continuous thing that is being done, which then makes it second nature to say that every action is offered. But then you also mentioned it's not just about like the individual level, then which means that if 50% of the time needs to be for the societal benefit, uh, um, then is it like tipping the balance to a level where one is engaged in that kind of a selfless activity where it's very less of the self, and essentially the karmic balance tilt to, even though we reinforce in the sense we can, like you mentioned, we can say that everything I'm offering to God and then do it, but then to what extent is that intention of that action being driven by absolute selflessness, which then tilts the balance in favor of that person not having to bear the load, which Swami would give that example. You have that 101 rupee coins, and then you go to Swami, and then Swami makes it a 100 rupee note, which is then easy to carry because it's coming from Swami. Now, since he takes on the burden of carrying the 101 rupee coins, but he gives you that equivalent of that 100 rupee note, which you can still encash, but now it's a lot more easy because it's coming from the Lord. I don't know if I made sense with what I said, but that's where I was thinking.
Okay, thank you, Sai Satish. Uncle Gopala.
Sairam, I was thinking that two things. Vidura left during the war, but he came back after the war and took care of Dhritarashtra and the queen. And also, second one was even the Pandavas. When Krishna passed away, they all decided to leave everything and hand over to Parikshit and go to the Himalayas. Just a point. Yeah, thank you.
Sairam, Uncle, thank you. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sairam, just I don't know whether I understood correctly from Brother Sai Sathis. Brother Sai Sathis is Brother Sai Sathis, are you mentioning Krishna didn't take a side?
He didn't
Yes,
fight.
yeah, he didn't take a side in terms of fighting, sister. Yes, he
In
didn't.
terms of fighting, am I right? In terms of fighting.
Yeah,
That
God is
is,
always unbiased. For him, there is no
yeah.
good or bad.
So he is not in the standing of the middle even. He's always stand for dharma, right? That's the thing. He didn't take part in the fight, but I think Krishna had a point of proving something there, right? So I thought just to clarify. Thank you, Sarah.
He gave logistical support. Yeah, Krishna took the stance of dharma, and of course, which Vidura sort of tried to avoid. Because sometimes some people cannot bring themselves to that. See, the Vidura was, to a great extent, he had a view that he had to look after his older brother, Dhritarashtra. So even though he went on a pilgrimage, he felt he had to help his brother. That's why he came back and told him, don't be here. You have to go to the forest, and he took Dhritarashtra and Gandhari to the forest for Vanaprastha. So sometimes attachment plays many roles. So that is why he could not even provide logistical support for Pandavas like Krishna did. But in the case of Krishna, one of the reason he did not want to take up arms is because he asked his army to be part of Kauravas. So it is not fair for someone who is asked his people to fight on one side to fight against the same people also. Okay, he assigned, if he took up arms, he'll be killing his own people. Then he might as well not ask them to go and fight there. So I think Krishna, that was one of the reasons Krishna did not fight, because his army was fighting on the Kaurava side. So I think that could have been one of the main reasons why Krishna did not take up arms. Especially because he has asked his people to fight. And so then he should not fight and kill them. I think that must have been it's not a sense of attachment. I think it's a sense of responsibility as a leader who asks his people to fight on the other side. I think that's the way I would put it. But Krishna didn't shy away from helping the Pandavas do whatever they had to do. So in that sense, I think Krishna did not take up arms. Otherwise, Krishna it's not averse to taking up arms. He has defeated so many people before that also. So that's the way I understand. But there was a specific reason why Krishna did not take up arms in the Mahabharata with them. So that's my understanding. But he's definitely made it clear that he stood for Dharma. So I think that was his stance. So you can decide. Your question itself answered itself. You asked whether that's the best. That's what Vidura could do. So he did whatever he could, and he had to face the consequence of that.
So is that we are understanding maybe he left it because he don't wanted to take a side, but it may be we can think like Vidura wants him to realize what is right, and he's saying, right, don't fight against this and all kind of things, right? So maybe because in Vidra point of view, I don't think he will leave and go like that. Something uh, I'm thinking like that. Maybe it could be a reason behind of it to convey a message to Dhritarashtra that whatever you're going to do is not right. So maybe that's the reason. Maybe so because anybody leaving and going has to convey some message. You shouldn't be in the middle. Oh, I'm not part of it. Kind of. I don't think he would have left it. I'm just thinking to myself. I'm just trying to clear because then that's applicability in our life too, right? So that's the reason. Thank you, Sayam.
Jairam sister, yeah. See, Vidura, as you know, Sai Satish mentioned, anyone else, you can raise your hand, okay? Because no one is raising, I'm just answering. See, in the case of Vidura, he knew what Kauravas were up to from their younger days. From the time when he plotted to burn the Pandavas in the palace of wax, Vidura knew what sort of people he was serving. Okay. But he did not know what to do. He did not go on a pilgrimage then. He knew they were up to no good. He also knew about uh, the game of dice also. He knew what was happening. So all along he knew, okay, but he did not know what to do. Though he knew dharma, you know, Vidura Niti is considered a seminal text on how people should be. So the thing is, each person has to struggle with what they have to do in their own life. Is it right or wrong? No, it is. There's a karmic burden which comes with whatever decisions we make. But because some of them were great devotees also, the Lord, helped them also in their own spiritual growth. But sometimes the human element is powerful, unfortunately. So I think that's it. So I think, so there's Swami will not say this is right or wrong. I think two things we have to do. We should do the best we are capable of. Number one. Number two, when the karmic consequences come, we should be willingly able to accept it. I think that's the way to put it. And of course, then they were great devotees. When with Krishna went on the peace as an emissary of peace to the Kauravas, he went and stayed with Vidura. So Vidura was a great devotee of Krishna. There is something, so Krishna doesn't force anyone to do what they cannot. If they asked Krishna, he would have given them what to do, but the Lord looks at their devotion and their surrender. There's some level of human element which sometimes people can't overcome. So I think it's okay. It just delays the process of yoga. That's all. Let's leave it at that.
Thank you.
Sairam, sister.
Sairam, just to one other follow-up question. So, so would you say like what Vibhishana did, for example, was a better choice? Like he just gave up his brother and just joined Rama, whereas what Vidura did, he was constantly stuck trying to help his brother. Or is it that, Vidura accepted that this is my lot, I was born as this person's brother, so it's my duty of my whole life will be to help him whether or not he changes?
Kalyani, you have answered your own question. Vibhishana stands tall. That's all. Okay, he did not have any qualms. See, the thing is, Vibhishana knew that he had a duty for the kingdom also. It's not about himself. So he said, the longer I keep Ravana in power, the worse it is. And in one discourse, Swami is saying Vibhishana's own son had come to fight. Okay, and Vibhishana told Rama, this fellow is rather dangerous, finish him off. His own son. So the level of sacrifice which Vibhishana rose to is phenomenal. as a great devotee, as a person, an exemplar of dharma, he was head and shoulders even above even Vidura, I would say, because it's a great devotee. Total surrender and willing to go to any length for the sake of dharma. I think that's the way I see it, Sai Ram.
So, brother, so in that case, we can see in his action, he's standing for the right thing, but he cannot do anything in his action and leaving to the Lord, kind of, we can look at it.
Oh,
Because
Vidura sister
Vidura,
again?
Vidura, yeah.
Poor Vidura, we will leave him alone.
No, brother, that is the situation comes all the time
No, I
here.
think,
Okay.
sister, you already know the answer. The
So
answer is
we had to,
stand firm with dharma. The
okay.
Lord will take care of everything else. Let attachments of who you know, your family, all this should not come and interfere with our practice of dharma. That's ultimately that's what it is. There are great examples of people who did not think about their family or anything like that for the sake of dharma.
So,
For
yeah,
example,
yes.
in Tamil, there is something called Manuniti Kanda Solan. A king realized that his son had run over a small calf and the calf has died. So when the cow came and rang the bell, the king found out what had happened and he said, put my son and ride the chariot over him, let him also die. And that is Manuniti Kanda Solan. And when everyone refused, he said, bring the chariot. He rode the chariot and he rode over his own son. That's the story of Manuniti Kanda Solan. Because he said, as a king, I have to dispense justice. And so it has to be dispensed. So they rose above family ties. They rose above everything. That is why he is praised as a king who stood for dharma. So I hope that answers your questions.
Yes, because the leaving, that's a thing I was trying to understand. Even he's leaving for the Dharma purpose only, not as a, like, I don't want to do anything with this kind of, he didn't do. That action also gives people to understand why he is leaving, what is the right thing to do for people to think. So that's okay. Thank you, Sai.
Sairam, sister, Sairam. His sister Vani, please go ahead.
Sairam, brother. So Vidura was not a warrior, right? Like he wouldn't have participated in the war regardless, even if he stayed back. Would he? I'm not sure whether he was trained warrior.
He was a trained warrior, sister.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So he was, I think the last dialogue was, he threw his bow and arrow in the palace and then left. He said, I will never again lift this.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's why he walked out. And so that's okay, Sairam, sister. I think each of us have to make the call, but ultimately one should fight to re-establish dharma where there is adharma. If we shirk our responsibility, then I think it is our thing to bear. Okay, for the sake of dharma, we should be able to give up anything in this world. That's Swami. That's what Swami is teaching in Dharma Bhavini. So I'll stop there. So, okay, I hope all of them did their best in their own way. We can pick the example which suits us, and then we have to face whatever consequence of that. That's that. Okay, so we'll.
So just because I guess we're talking about people who didn't fight in the war, like, can you explain also Balarama and what his reasoning was?
I think everyone had. I think because Krishna had told all of them to fight from Kaurava's side.
Oh.
Okay. So Balrama also couldn't fight from this side, is my understanding. So I think everyone makes their own choices in life. It's nothing perfectly good, but Krishna is a very strong person, So I think we'll have other opportunities to discuss this. We can move on if no other discussion. We'll go to the next.
Just one question about the translation. With the part where it says that is his nature, that is what is seen as beneficial. Is it like that is what is seen as beneficial by him, or that is what is seen as beneficial for him?
So Swami has used the word hita, I think, if I auntie.
అది అతని నైజము, అది అతనికి హితమని తోచును కనుక అంతే.
So hita means that is what is well it's
Good
what is beneficial.
Is he thinking that's beneficial for me, or is he just thinking that's what's beneficial for the world?
I think it's beneficial for the society as well.
Okay.
He cannot be selfish. A person who is doing a karma yogi, he cannot be selfish. It's for the sake of not only for his own sake, but for the others also. He must be doing a karma action without expecting any fruit.
So, brother, I have a question about this doing karma for the sake of karma. So if things like the routine stuff, like, brushing your teeth and washing your face, those we don't think about, there's going to be benefit by brushing the teeth and all that. I mean, we know, I guess, at the back of the mind, but we don't think and do for certain things. So would that count as non-beneficial, or would it count as the sake of karma for the sake of karma, regular routine stuff?
Very good question, sister. So I think, sister, what do you understand by for the sake of karma?
For doing it like as a routine, I think, as for the reason for doing it, kind of thing.
So, but if you use the definition hitam, beneficial, how can we make it beneficial? Okay, so maybe I will answer the question. It was a discourse Swami gave in 1986 in our university hall, where he's talking about seva. He said every activity can be seva. And he gave some examples. He said, when you get up in the morning, before you talk to someone, if you brush your teeth, you're doing a great seva for others. They don't have to put up with your smell. He said, if you get up, wash your face and comb your hair so that others will you won't find it unpleasant to look at you. They don't have a choice but to look at you, but at least they will not be turned away. So every activity which we do, in the end, becomes beneficial for others. And we see, many people brush the teeth so that we preserve our teeth. No, Swami says, no, you preserve and rinse your mouth so that when you go and mix in public, others are not put to discomfort. So that is not only hitam, that's hitam for us as well as for the rest of the world. If you have shower, if you wash your face, if you groom yourself, then in that talk, Swami said, when you groom yourself, don't groom to attract other people or to impress others by your looks. Do what is needed so that others' emotions are calm. Others don't have negative emotions nor positive emotions. That is the ideal way to groom. And you should not groom yourself so that others will be bowled over by your looks or you have attraction. No. He says, do everything with the sense of the clothes you wear should be such that people should be comfortable to mix, not to show off anything. So every aspect of our life, we can see, we can decide, is it beneficial for the world? So that's why Swami says, dressed modestly, keep yourself in a healthy manner. So others also benefit, you don't spread disease. So these are things, I think every activity which we do can be done with the consciousness or being conscious of the benefit it will have for the wider world. So I think every aspect, how we brush, how we comb, how we groom ourselves, what we wear, how we walk about, I think everything we can be considerate to others. I think that's what I would say, Sairam sister.
Okay, thank you, brother. And I also came across, I was pondering over all this karma stuff over the week. I found in Gita Vahini that the karma has no capacity to bind, but it is the doership. I am the doer that brings about the attachment and the bond. So just that's what this karma for the sake of karma means, right?
Yes, sister. That is also one aspect of doing karma properly. Yes, thank you, sister. Okay, I think we have done the karma of discussion quite a bit. We'll move on, I guess.
The second path, Bhakti Yoga, this is congenial for those who are emotionally oriented. It is the path for those capable of filling their hearts with love. The urge is to have God as the beloved. His activities will be different, for they relate to incense burning, gathering flowers for worship, building shrines and temples where he could install and adore symbols of beauty, wisdom, and power.
Thank you, sister. Auntie, shall we read Telugu?
సారీ ఇక రెండవది భక్తి యోగము.
Now, the second one, which is Bhakti Yoga.
ఇది భావావేశ స్వభావము కలవాని ప్రేమ పూరిత హృదయుని మార్గము.
So this is the path taken by someone whose heart is filled with love and who is given to having certain emotions and emotional feelings.
భగవంతుని తన ప్రేమ ప్రదముగా చేసుకునవలని అతని అభిలాష.
His desire is to make God the primal object of his love.
అందుకై అతడు ఏవేవో కర్మకలాపములు చేయు అభిలషించును.
So because of that, he will perform actions and other activities which with this in mind.
పరిమళ ధూపమును, పుష్పములను, సుందర మందిరమును, మనో ఆకర్షణీయమైన ఆధారములు ఆశ్రయించును.
So he will perform actions such as using dhupa, which is fragrant smoke, flowers, and establishing very beautiful mandiras or temples. And he will use various other things which are attractive to the mind, which are very beautiful.
Saira.
I don't know, in English, they've added wisdom and power, which Swami has not mentioned, but I will just leave it at that.
No, it's not there.
Yeah, it's not there. So that's some additional sugandham which has been added in English. I'll stop. Anyone would like to discuss anything? So I think different people, yes, Sairam Sanjay, go ahead.
No, finish your thought and then.
No, I am just trying to fill the gap, The silence is deafening to me, so silent.
No, I was, it is so beautiful how Swami answers a lot of the discussion we had for the previous two sections in how to approach karma as bhakti. I thought it was very beautiful here. If everything is done with the sole purpose of with the sole, what is that in Telugu? It was beautifully written actually, for the sole purpose of love for God, is it?
Prema Pradamuga.
Ah.
So that's the word Swami has used. That which grants love also, you know. Prema Pradamuga.
If everything is done with that primary objective, then I think a lot of the questions we had in the previous sections, I won't say all, but a lot of them may slowly begin to answer themselves. You know, am I doing this to please my Lord? Am I doing this with the sole objective of earning His love? You know, I just found it very interesting and nicely put here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sanjay. Yeah, I think the previous one, you know, we use the intellect to analyze. Here it is just the love of the Lord, you know, inspires to action of various kinds of activities also. Saira. Swami has used the word karma kalapamulu, you know, so I think.
What does that mean?
Auntie, what is the best translation, Auntie Kalapa?
Various activities, karma kalapamalu. Kalapa is also a similar word like karma kalapamalu. Synonyms, I think, both kalapa.
Sairam, brother, but here he says activities related to incense burning, gathering flowers, worship, building friends, and so these
Yes.
maybe when we go below, maybe other things come up, but here the activities are restricted to bhakti related, no? Yeah, but as Sanjay said, I strongly feel that I strongly believe that when there is bhakti, the karma yoga is automatic. We don't need to ask, think of anything. No, when there's a real devotion, whatever the activity that we do is karma yoga. So that's what I think the Sanjay is saying.
Yes.
But in this paragraph, the activities are limited to the worship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Sairam Sanjay, please go ahead.
No, I just wanted to add another comment, you know, because, you know, for example, somebody might say plucking flowers from a beautiful garden, right? To a person who does not engage in devotional activities or you know, in as bhakti and prayer, may say like, oh, why are you destroying a beautiful garden? Right, picking flowers from the thing. And I'm just connecting this back to the questions we had in the previous section about right action, wrong action, being involved in an organization that's performing wrong action. All of that kind of disappears again. I'm just trying to, you know, it disappears when it is all done to further the love for God. All of it kind of disappears. Yeah, I'll stop there. It's very interesting.
Yes, Sairam. Yes, Sai Satish.
Saravan, I'm just recollecting the story we heard when Lord Krishna comes to Radha, and when he comes after a long time and he opens the door, and or rather Radha, Lord Krishna knocks the door and Radha opens the door, and then once he, or rather Radha sees Krishna, Krishna expects Radha to like really jump in joy in seeing him, but she's very contented there And she just looks at him and smiles. And then Krishna is, oh, I have come to see you. Um, and then Radha replies that, when have you gone that you have returned? And at that time, the conversation proceeds to where Krishna says, I've come here to offer my love to you. And she says that whether you love me or not, I am here to offer my love to you. And then Swami says, for the first time, the Lord says, I am receiving something from humanity. So I just wanted to put here that when we do that action, what Sanjayana was mentioning, like in terms of for the love of Lord, I'm just saying, can we take it to a level where I just do this because I love God? I don't even look to a point that I do this so that I will get God's love. I just do this because I love you, Swami. And then that point in time, that action itself becomes that true offering to the Lord, or it becomes bhakti filled with jnanam, everything, all the triune part of karma, bhakti, jnana attains that fruition because I just love you, I'm doing this, and that's about it. Whatever happens, I'm fine with it. I have to bear this consequences of this action. I love you, Swami. If anything happens to it, I love you. That feeling of just that loving God stays. And when we are loving God, we see the loving God. That way it becomes, we are in that continuous state of love. So that itself, and when a being of that nature, or like when Radha, whatever action that she would have done, that would have become totally untouched by anything else because she's in such state of purity which can shine forth. So the effort would be just doing everything because I love you, Swami. That kind of a feeling.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. See, I'm reminded of everyone repeats this: love all, serve all. When we say love all, the all is actually nothing but God. We should see and serve the world as the Lord. So actually, when all mean that all encompassing the Lord is Brahman. So you love Brahman and serve Brahman. So it's the same thing. Once you love, you will definitely serve. So thank you.
So the translation for that line of karma kalapamu is therefore
Kalapa can also be something which is a celebration, ornament, that kind of meaning also comes in kalapam, but it's activity also.
That sentence is just saying, therefore he desires to perform various actions.
So it can be a bundle, collection, kalapa also, collection is also one thing. So various activities, various activities also you can karma kalapa. It's collection of activities, but it has other meanings also. Okay, it's karma will come in. They will be engaged in all sorts of activities, which are for prema prada, which will grant love, which will more and more love. We do an activity which increases the love in us. When the love in us increases, it's the love of the Lord actually is also increasing. So that's what the devotee will always do. All his activities are from love to love for love. Sai Satish, I just borrowed yours. Okay.
So when it says Dana Prema Pradamuga Jesukona Valane, that one, it means
Prema Prada means that which grants love.
so he wants to make God that which grants him love, or
Bhagavantuni Tana Prema Prada means he wants to make God his, the one to whom he shows his love. Okay. So you only love the Lord, but then the Lord is resident in everyone. That's why he said love all. Means you serve only the Lord. So he only serves the Lord. Nothing. No, he doesn't love anyone else. Okay, he only loves the Lord. The Lord means who is all-encompassing Lord we love. I hope that answers. Okay.
Thank you.
Generally, sometimes we think Bhagavan means one limited form which we are serving. No, it is not. It should be all-encompassing. That's why Sai Satya said, about Radha. Radha saw everywhere Krishna. So when Krishna's form came, he said, "You never left." She had reached that level of seeing Krishna as everything in this world. But she still loved Krishna only, but not limited to that body. I hope that answers. Yes, brother, Uncle Gopalan, please go ahead.
Sairam, I remember Swami in one of discourse, I cannot remember which discourse, Pandavas were in the forest, and one day Draupadi is kind of upset living in the forest, and she asked Dharmaraja, they're looking outside, and she's saying, look what has happened to us because of what you did. Are you still loving wherever you are? That's a question she asked. And Dharmaraja replies, look at this, where we are. Look at this beautiful mountain. I love it for the sake of love. That's what he says. I'm not putting it properly.
No, you're putting it properly, Uncle.
So
very nice. Yes.
He's happy wherever he is.
Yeah, actually, Draupadi is asked with what concerned, Dharmaraja is here in the jungle, and what is his state of mind? He wanted to find out, and Dharmaraja says, I am just enjoying thoroughly. He was just enjoying the Himalaya, the hills, and the mountains, and he says, I'm just enjoying the Lord. What should I worry about? Where I am. I'm with the Lord. Yeah, thank you very much, Uncle. Actually, Swami is, I think, saying that's the way devotees should be. Wherever they are, they should be able to see and witness the Lord and enjoy it, whatever the troubles and tribulations from worldly point of view. And Swami sets Dharmaja as the example for that. Thank you. Is everyone is fine? We can move. I guess it was a short paragraph, and I think straightforward. I think we can all relate to. We witness it everywhere. Thank you.
Are you inclined to remark that this is not the right means of achieving union with divinity? Remember that saints and sages, great spiritual leaders and guides through the world have emerged just from this devotional and dedicatory stage of spiritual endeavor. Some faiths try to imagine God as formless and described worship of God through such various acts as blasphemy, tried to suppress the bhakti cults, and in the process, they slighted the reality and its power and majesty. The belief that God cannot be symbolized in a form is evidence of blindness. The charge that such worship is barren is a hollow charge. The history of the world is the witness to the efficacy of bhakti. It is not proper to ridicule these activities, ceremonials, and rituals, and the descriptions of the lives of sadhakas who adhere to them in order to earn union with divinity. Let those who yearn after the joy of worshipping the form do so. Certainly, it will be a sin to shatter their faith and treat it as infructuous.
Thank you very much, sister. Auntie, shall we read the Telugu?
Yeah. So the previous sentence says, పుష్పములను సుందర మందిరమును మనో ఆకర్షణీయ ఆధారంలో ఆశ్రయించును అది సరి అయిన మార్గము కాదందురా. Is it? That's
is this the wrong path which is not right?
కాదు
No, not at all.
Purana Vangmaya Samruddhi, Karma Kalapa Samruddhi, Aparamuga Gala మతముల ఉండుటయే లోకములోని ఆధ్యాత్మిక మహాపురుషులందరూ ఆవిర్భించరని పాఠకులు. దిస్ a big sentence. పురాణ వాంగ్మయ సమృద్ధి కర్మకలాప సమృద్ధి.
So what has been stated in the Puranas and in all the various activities which are prevalent.
అపారముగా గల మతములందు ఉండుడియే లోకములోని ఆధ్యాత్మిక మహాపురుషులందరూ ఆవిర్భవించరని.
So in the faith system, where such great people, great devotees who have come out of from this belief alone, from
ఆధ్యాత్మిక మహాపురుషులు కెన్ బి
spiritual great personages of spirituality.
ఆవిర్భవించిరని పాఠకులు జ్ఞప్తి యందు ఉంచుకొనవలెను.
So all the students, all the readers should keep in their mind the fact that it is only from this faith or religion which believed in this, that great number of great devotees and spiritual great personages of spiritual nature have come about. This should not be forgotten by the readers.
Yeah. Okay. భగవద్రూప రహితముగా ఉపచార రహితముగా ఆరాధనం ఒనర్చు చూపిన శాఖలన్యూ.
So all the branches which have shown a path where there is no form of God and it lacks certain kinds of upacharas which are performed for the form as worship. These branches, all of these branches,
మతములలో గల సుందర వస్తువులను మహనీయ వస్తువులను కటిక దండముతో అణద్రొక్కి వేచినవి.
So they also made sure that all these beautiful things and such great objects were all destroyed by them and suppressed.
కన్నుగాని మూర్ఖ విశ్వాసమే వారి మతము.
Their belief is a blind faith.
ఇది కేవలము శుష్క రూపమైనది.
This has become very limited. Shushkam, Chariya aunty?
Dry.
It has become a very dry philosophy. Okay.
Yeah. ప్రపంచ చరిత్రయే ఇందుకు ప్రబల సాక్ష్యము.
The history of the world itself is a witness of this.
Yeah. కావున ఈ కర్మకలాపములను పురాణములను తూలనాడుట మంచిది కాదు.
So therefore these type of activities and the stories of Puranas should not be ignored or set aside.
Slighted.
Okay.
మంచిది కాదు. It's not good.
It's not.
వానిని అభిలషించు వారికి వాటిని ఉండనిండు.
For those who wish to have them, let them be.
వాటి అంద అక్కర గల వారికి అవి ఉపకరించుగాక.
Let those paths help those who find it helpful.
వాటిని చులకన చేసి మూడులు పాపమునకు గురి కాకుందురుగాక.
Those fools who ridicule it, may such fools, let them be blessed with sin.
And that's all. Sai.
So it's a very interesting thing. I think nice to discuss this. Especially in the Sai organization, I think we should discuss this and be very clear about it. I will open it up for anyone to discuss any of the points here.
So we mentioned a few times the Puranas. Is there Because is that why, like, is that where most of the bhakti rituals come from or something?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the reason. See, the thing is, Swami says every spiritual aspirant should be knowledgeable in Vedas, Shastras, and Puranas. All these three parts, every devotee should be familiar with and understand the significance of it. Veda, Shastra, Purana. And this type of form worship is something which is established by the Puranas. So there are some people say, oh, it came later, it's not part of Veda. Yes, it may not be part of the Vedic lore, but it has an equal place in the spiritual growth. It is an integral part of spirituality. So all these three are equally important for a sadhaka. Okay, so that's the reason. Yes, Uncle Gopala.
Sairam, I'm thinking about Andal and her father. They worshipped with flowers and garlands, and eventually both of them merged with God, according to the story. So I just want to mention that.
Thank you very much, Uncle.
Isn't there like the first part of the Vedas, don't they also describe rituals, or are those rituals different from what Swami's referring to here?
So just the Vedic rituals are not necessarily a form aspect. Okay, generally they all worshipped various devas through the fire.
Fire worship.
Agnihotram was the main ingredient in Vedic worship. Okay, so
The Karma Kanda deals only with the worship of all these elements and Varuna and Yama and Agni. So with oblations to the particular deities, that was how it is. It was rituals were described in the first part, Karma Kanda. Sairam.
So there is an upasana element, Kalyani, but Puranas only brought about the form worship.
Oh, okay.
Having murti and temples and all that. They're more agamas and all that. Okay. Yes, Sister Vani, please go ahead.
Sairam, brother. So people who believe the God is formless, they cannot um, um, do bhakti. Like, can they still be devoted to the God even if they believe God is formless? Like, this sounds like bhakti means only, doing rituals and stuff like that, and only worshipping form God. But can formless still be, we have devotion to the formless God as well? So why is only, like, this paragraph is written like that it's only kind of, that's why people, some faith, then they say, the God is formless, why are you doing all this stuff?
Sairam.
Sairam.
Here what formless is referred to is most of the things, other religions, they don't have these forms. So I think it's the reference to those sects of people who don't believe in forms, so that's why he described worship as blasphemy. They thought that to worship God in a form was a blasphemy. So they tried to, that's why they destroyed all our temples and all our idols.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother, I just wanted to add one thing, but Swami has said, the formless, his form. That means you have to see him everywhere. Formless, his form. That's one of the thing I have read it on one of the speak. Swami says, my formless is my form. So that's that I understood, like he's everything, he's in everything. So I just thought of saying that here, just to mention it. then the always Lord has taken different formulas as a form, that means he can take any form, kind of. So anyone is so at the Dhyanavani, we, in order for a startup, we take a form and a name to drive the one-pointedness. Then you rise above to see God in all, like that. So I thought of just adding that here. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, sister. Anyone else would like to comment? Sister Vani also mentioned something. Yes, Sairam, Sanjay.
No, yeah, to that question, Swami has said, as one of the discourses, um, so long as an individual, I'm quoting here, so long as an individual identifies with their physical body, they may find it challenging to conceptualize the abstract, impersonal, and formless God. So I think, yeah, this Swami said this in several places, but this is one of the ones that I pulled up. I think Swami has said in another place, how can, as long as you have a form, how can you worship a formless? Or it becomes, as Swami here says, it can be challenging. I'll stop there.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. So I will again pose the point, Sister Vani's question. Sister Vani's question is those who worship the formless, can we say that, can we not consider that devotion? Is devotion only towards a form? That was Sister Vani's question. And Sister Aruna says, formless is the form. I don't know how, so how do we reconcile this? And Sister Aruna said she sees God in all. So what is this God in all? Is it formless God we see in all? So I think those are questions which we can discuss.
I mean, I think it's, is it those who in other faiths are worshipping the formless, are they really worshipping the formless? To even, before one can comment on, whether it's devotion, for example, in the Muslim faith, they're worshipping the holy book or the writings. Would that be considered as formless, or is that actually a form that you're worshipping?
Okay.
So just a question. Yeah. I mean, I think we have to know who is really worshipping the formless, or is it just an abstraction of the form as a text or as a holy book or as so on and so forth, which by definition also becomes some sort of a form which has qualities.
Yeah.
So what Sanjay you are saying is, so there are three concepts. One is Saguna Sakara, Saguna Nirakara, and Nirguna Nirakara. So there are three stages. In the Sanatana Dharma, all these three are valid. Which is Saguna and Sakara mean that the form, with the physical form, it has attributes as well as form. Then there is something called Saguna Nirakara. Form does not exist, but there is gunas. And then we have Nirguna and Nirakara. Both gunas are absent and form is also absent. So generally, the categories of faith system which Swami is referring to they fall under this Saguna Nirakara category. Now the question comes, if there is Saguna Nirakara, can we consider that devotion or not is the question.
I think it's Sorry,
Yes.
sorry. Sorry, Aruna. I'll just, no, please finish.
No, because where Swami has clearly said, Swami is talking about Bhakti Marga. And in the Bhakti Marga, which Swami is describing, he's only talking about form. So that means Saguna and Sakara. So the question is, are these people who worship the Saguna Nirakara? Because Nirguna Nirakara concept is only present in Sanatana Dharma. Okay, it is not present in any, any other religion or faith system. But maybe Buddhism to some extent, but they don't have a God per se. But Nirguna Nirakara is present in Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma also has Saguna Sakara. Both of them are considered acceptable. And the way Swami is talking about here is Saguna Sakara is the only one where you can have devotion. That is the sense we are getting. And Swami is sort of saying that Saguna Nirakara people maybe not having Bhakti Marg. And so Sister Vani's question is, then what are they doing? It's a question, so I will stop there.
No, an
Sanjay.
example Swami gives is the fragrance from a rose. You know, one can feel the essence of a rose through the fragrance of the rose. That is the Saguna Nirakara. And worship the fragrance itself, or worship the word of God. And through the word of God, worship God. In that sense, one can have devotion, but in that case, is it really formless? Because I think Nirguna Nirakara is the only true formless one can. When you talk about formless, like you said, in the context of Sanatana Dharma, it is that which does not have any attributes or qualities that we can not attributes, I should say, but qualities that we can perceive. And I think that's why Swami says one who identifies with the form, with his own form, will find it extremely challenging to develop devotion to the formless, which has no qualities at all.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you. Auntie Mani.
So what I was trying to refer to this particular a few sentences. Some faiths try to imagine God as formless. You know, that a few sentences clearly indicates that Swami is referring to those days when people destroyed temples and idols for the sake of their own belief that the God cannot have any form. One thing, that one. And of course, they say that though they don't have any form. But in for a Guru Granth Sahib in six among six, and the cross in the churches, or the book that the holy book which is worshipped by other Muslims, those are all in a way it is also a form. But they, as you say, it is a Saguna Nirakara. It's a Saguna Nirakara worship. But they don't agree with us, with those idol worshippers, that when God is formless, why do you want to put it in a form? That's their argument. But here I mentioned that those few lines particularly mentions about those people who spoiled our idols and our temples, thinking that, you know, it's a blasphemy to worship God as form. Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Yes, Sai Satish.
Sai Ramana. So just trying to wrap my head around this. So Saguna Sakara is, I'll put it at a level where we had Swami's physical presence. Saguna Nirakara, I'll put it at a level where we are having Swami's omnipresence. It may be contradictory because we are still talking about Swami's form, but then now when we are dealing with his omnipresence, it's again becoming a facets of borderline of Saguna Nirakara. of course, the Nirguna Nirakara is beyond the ken and understanding of the mind. So I will not even get to that part of the Shuddha Sattva and Parabrahman. But these two, I'm just trying to see if Saguna Sakara is through Bhakti, can Saguna Nirakara get to the level of Jnana? I'm just again trying to see that aspect, because like what Sanjayana mentioned, we have the flower in the state of Saguna Sakara and we have the fragrance in the Saguna Nirakara. So if I were to look at people or travelers in that path, it would go more in the realm of jnana kind of a framework, and finding that omnipresence kind of an aspect. Of course, now because we have the physical presence, we are still able to relate to that part, and then based on that talk about the omnipresence. And so that way you can still say it is related to the sakara, but then it also stands on the threshold of nirakara. So we are uniquely positioned in that realm. But I would say that possibly in that aspect, the jnana thing is more needed, because you're getting to something that is intangible, which is not going with what can be perceived directly by the senses now, because it is nirakara. So it would, yeah, it would go along more of Jnana Marga, but that's my initial sign up.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Yes, Sister Vani.
So Swami also said, from form, we have to progress from form to formless. So, and he took a form from formless so that we can, be in devotion to him. So I always thought, is bhakti also from form to formless? It's a progress that we have to make. But this paragraph says, it doesn't apply for formless. So that was what my comment was.
Yes, sister. Thank you. Anyone has something to say? Yes, Auntie Mani, please go ahead.
Let me read those Telugu lines so that
Yes,
it's
Auntie.
clear. Yeah, correct. భగవద్రూప రహితముగా ఉపచార రహితముగా ఆరాధన మనర్ప చూపిన శాఖలన్నీయు మతములలో గల సుందర వస్తువులను మహనీయ వస్తువులను కటిక దండముతో అణగద్రొక్కి పేచినవి. This is the exact way what I meant was when
yes.
Bhagavad-rupa rahitamuga, there is no form for them. So there is no upachara. So such people thought that, it's wrong to worship idols. So they really spoiled. They put that slighted the reality and its power. Saira.
So again, I think everyone is silent. Do these people have devotion or not? Is the question. Because Swami says shushkam, their faith is dry. That's the word Swami has used. And I think, see, what Swami says is, those who, all the religions which did not accept worship of the form, they destroyed all that was beautiful. So that means their feelings, see, a person who is full of devotion will not harm or hurt anyone, especially in this kind of way. Such faiths are still engaged in this, even today. That's a reality. And Swami's, Swami says, let them be papa karmas, He's wishing, sin on their part. That's what Swami says in the last sentence. So the reality is, when you cannot relate to a physical form, your emotions cannot be sublimated. That's a reality. Most of these religions cannot express love because upacharam is out. See, for example, someone who has a form, they will, they will do all what they do to themselves. Their form, they will do to the form of the Lord also. So that way, they find spirituality in everything they do by doing all those things to the Lord also. If we have bath, they give bath to the Lord. If they dry themselves, they dry the Lord. If they show, sugandham, beauty, smell, fragrance, then they also should. So everything they do, they're able to spiritualize. And so bhakti is sublimating every single feeling we have as devotion. And that is why, because they are unable to do it, they were able to destroy all the temples. They were able to break all the forms because they were functioning only a sense of fear, not even jnana, fear. If you don't do that, God will beat us up. So let us beat the other person. That kind of a thing. And Swami has spoken about it in the first and second chapter of Sathya Sai Vahini. There Swami is saying, Bharatiyas did not know of all these evil deeds until the foreign hordes came to Bharat. They realized, oh, people can be like this also. That was the awakening for Bharatiyas. Because the form worship is only prevalent in the Bharatiya culture. Wherever it was present in other parts of the world, those traditions are no more today. Though, there are such faith systems existed elsewhere, but they are no more because they have been completely destroyed. So this is what Swami say. So even if you go to Saguna Nirakara, without starting the Saguna Sakara, you cannot go to Saguna Nirakara. Swami would say, you need to have a rose and then you should smell. Only then you will know what is smell of a rose. Even if the rose is not there, you can recollect. But without the rose, you will never learn what is the smell of a rose. So with the form only you can smell. So the same way, only with the physical presence of the Lord or in a physical form, one can enjoy love, and then you will be able to transfer it to any other pact. So without an avatar coming down, we will not have that experience. And anyone who has interacted with an avatar, the love they have experienced as welling in them as well as coming from the Lord, that memory one can live with. So Swami always says, Deivam Manusha Rupena. God can only be experienced through another human form. So I think sometimes other traditions, they will say Guru at least should be there. So you need to have, even other religions, actually they are worshipping the Guru as almost Lord, without them realizing that. At least because of that only there is some amount of bhakti. If that was also not there, at least the prophets, they worship, though they don't want to put a form, they have some love for that form which existed before. If that form did not exist, they will not have any form of emotion, pure emotion. So I will stop there. And that's what Swami is trying to say here. If anyone has something to add, it's...
Sairam, brother.
yes.
So I was listening everything. Everybody's contribution was very good, extremely good, and very, very extremely good. Also, we can think of even great saints who have come above the physical level. They as somebody pointed out, when whatever they see outside, they take it as God, or they feel it as God. So the formful aspect is always present in one way or the other, even for the greatest saint in the world, for whoever it may be,
they at the final stage even, they respect all forms of outside, man, animal. Somebody said, no, some said, I think. So the formful aspect is always there. So we have to think of that also. But extremely good discussion. I was listening. Thank you, Sai.
Sairam, brother, Sairam. I think Sanjay, you also raised your hand.
Yes, I just wanted to add one thing. I think it is easily, I would say, it's easily provable that it's impossible to have devotion without a form. Just like even the knowledge of the fragrance of a rose connects us back to the rose.
Yes.
The words of God in the holy books connects us to. I mean, that's why even in the other, as Swami says, shakas, often worship God as benevolent, merciful, all powerful, all knowing. Even all other religions also have this omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent aspect of God. The Saguna Nirakara, at best, you're worshipping the essence of God, but connects you back to a God in whatever each individual's capacity one is able to imagine that form as. And, I think.
Are you suggesting about a white God, white color God in a white robes?
Absolutely. Yes, you're right. But I think Sister Vani mentioned something about, one has to go from the form to the formless. I feel, in my understanding, it is not so much about transitioning from a God with form to to a formless God, but more so for us to transition from our attachment to our form to recognizing our own reality as being not this body and mind.
Nirakara.
And
Nirakara.
exactly. And when that happens alone, can one really be, because, as Swami says, then you are God yourself. Can one know what that Nirakara Parabrahman is? Just wanted to add that.
Sanjay, generally people who are looking at the formless, if you talk about you being formless, going one day, dying, they say, oh, don't talk about death now.
Yes, true.
They don't want to attain their Nirakara state.
True.
Oh,
Okay.
one
Brother,
word
just
only.
can I add one thing?
One second, Sister Brother Sivadas has something to say.
Yeah, only one word. Okay, so
Yes.
many people have said, many saints have said, the formlessness or formless is also form, because our capacity, our intelligence, human intelligence, cannot picture anything beyond 3 dimensions. So even formlessness, say when we see a formless aspect, it's a form. It's a form. Again, it's a form. Even the formless aspect is a form. Even we can think of the Saguna Nirakara we are speaking now. Saguna Nirakara, when we do that, then it is the form. Because the human mind can imagine a certain, say, it can expand its horizon, but still it is limited. No?
Yes.
So, okay, I am stopping over. The time is over. Okay, thank you, Zara. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sai, Brother Sivadas has covered. Formless means somebody has recognized the form, they are saying form. So I think he has covered the point. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, sister.
Saira.
So we will close for today and we'll continue next week. Sairam, everyone. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Sai Ram.